a professional services company.
Get up, get out of here, and way gone.
Cannon and Dunphy, Loyal Family Renovations, Lakeland University, Lynch Automotive, Z-Bart, and Network Health on the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ.
Chad Schultz, president and owner of Innovative Signs, discusses his experience working with SVA-certified public accountants on improving his company's profitability.
So the SVA professional helped us look at expenses, look at our profit margin, and really dig deep into what's going to make us the most profitable based on our marketplace. SVA is a professional accounting firm. They know accounting. I have a major comfort level with them from a responsiveness level, understanding of my needs, and they are very professional on their end.
To learn more about how we can provide you with measurable results, go to sva.com/profitable.
Hey Milwaukee, are you looking for a win? Try Unleaded 88. Unleaded 88 is available at lots of Wisconsin gas stations. It's cheaper than regular fuel, and it's better for your engine. Unleaded 88 is grown and produced by Wisconsin farmers. When you fill up with Unleaded 88, you save money, reduce pollution, get a cleaner engine, and you support local farmers. That's a win for all of us. Learn more at wibiofuels.org.
Members of LIUNA are the most diverse trade in Wisconsin's construction industry, partnering with over 900 contractors to meet the demand for a skilled, safe, and productive workforce. Their union members construct roads, bridges, buildings, sewer and water lines, and energy infrastructure. Feel the power of a career as a member of the Wisconsin Laborers District Council, where you will earn great union wages, health care, and a pension. Learn why you are worth so much more by visiting liunawisconsin.org, LIUNA Wisconsin.org.
Lots of insurance companies make promises about how much you can save if you switch over to them. Well, here's our promise. With the West Bend policy, you can save everything, every memory, every detail, everything you've worked so hard for. Once it comes time to actually make a claim, a cheap insurance policy can really cost you. Why not protect everything that matters with a policy from West Bend? Because the worst brings out our best. Visit thesilverlining.com to find out more.
Get up, get out of here, and go!
Covering the crew all season long on WTMJ, it's Brewers Extra Innings. Now live from American Family Field, here's your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
Well, it was certainly a Monday night, that's for sure. Brewers fall 8-6 to the Pirates. For 14 straight innings, the Brewers did not score a run going back to yesterday. The last 8 innings of Sunday's game against the Cardinals, the first 6 innings of today's game. It was just too little too late today, if you ask me. The offense was late arriving, didn't get the big hit until too late, and then couldn't get the last one to get them over the top. Also, the bullpen is something we will talk about in today's game, and the Brewers not being able to solve Mitch Keller. Craig Kashan is going to join us in a little bit once his television duties are finished. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. The phone number is 855-616-1620. 855-616-1620. Before we get into umpire conversation, because I'm sure we're going to have one of those again tonight, I do want to point out some of the positives. Jake Bauers, first and foremost. So Jake Bauers has switched to a toe tap with his loading mechanism. If you're not familiar, painting the picture for you. For a hitter, there's generally 2 schools of thought. Are you lifting and having a big leg kick and then putting that leg down to generate power to swing, or are you loading back by tapping your toe and never really raising that leg high like you would with a leg kick and just sort of staying a little more compact and then unloading? The old school theories and maybe the just kind of archaic way of thinking saying, oh, leg kicks always generate power, toe taps generate contact, and you got to pick one or the other. And really good players are able to kind of mix both. You know, remember a couple years ago, we made a big deal of Yelly switching to a toe tap off of his leg kick, and it really got him going in the second half of 2022. And he's really been that guy ever since. And we're seeing Bauers now switch to this toe tap, and the grand slam tonight is certainly a dividend of that. He hit the ball hard every time he came to the plate, too. Today, Bauers, looking at the numbers here, he lined out to right, singled to right, lined out to right, grand slam to right. I mean, he's a true lefty. He is up there to swing hard and see what he can get out of it. As far as exit velocities go, in the second inning, it was 99 off the bat. Then in the 6th inning, it was 107 off the bat, and then finally the home run was also 107 off the bat. So he's clearly finding something that is working for him right now as far as hitting the ball hard. Now, granted, the single was jammed. The single was 74 miles an hour. Go figure, right? But I tweeted the numbers just a moment ago at Dom_Catronio. The toe tap switch happened last Tuesday in Kansas City, so it's been about a week, still a very small sample here. But over his last 19 plate appearances, Bowers is now 7 for his last 15. That's 467. 2 homers, his second tonight, a triple, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. His average exit velocity is 97 miles an hour off the bat. And his whiff rate in this last week has gone down by 10%. It's actually more than that, technically. In the total sum, it's 10%. So on the season rate heading into last week, it was 33%. In this past week, it has been down to 23%. So that's good news for Jake Bowers, because with the other big news that happened today, not a positive, Rhys Hoskins injured his right hamstring. We got confirmation after the game today. The word with the media was the fact that there is no word. He is going to get an MRI tomorrow morning and assess from there. And in Rhys's own words, he's learned over the years in soft tissue injuries like this, don't push it. If you feel it, take yourself out. And he was thinking double out of the box as he rounded first, and right as he made the turn, that's when he felt it and shut it down. That was back in the second inning when he got the one-out single, and Perkins had to come in from there. So we don't have any further update other than it is a right hamstring, and if you're wondering, that is not the same leg as the leg that it was for his ACL last year. That was on the left knee. This is on the right leg for the hamstring. So those will wait and learn more tomorrow. So the reason why I bring up Bowers is because, well, look, there's your first baseman now. Jake Bowers is going to play first base until they know Rhys Hoskins is good to go, because Rhys was in a stretch right now where he was starting to play every day again and DHing a lot less, given what this team needed to get more consistent at-bats from him. He had the off day, he had the day off on the last game of the road trip against Kansas City. But coming into tonight, he had played each of his last 6 games as the first baseman. He had that day off on Wednesday, and today he was back at first base as well. So maybe this is starting to turn the tide, or was starting to turn the tide, for him to play more first base. Now we have to await word if he's going to be okay. Some other positives from this one, looking down the box score here for the Brewers, William Contreras tied the Major League lead for multi-hit games tonight. Tied with the likes of Mookie Betts, Jeremy Pena, Bobby Witt Jr., Granted, looking at the scores, the Dodgers have already scored 3 runs, so I wonder if Mookie's already got 2 hits there. I wonder if Jeremy Pena got a couple hits as the Astros blew out the A's today. But Contreras is being mentioned among the game's best. Pena did not have a multi-hit game, checking over now to the Dodgers, and Mookie's already got a multi-hit game, so he's taking the lead. And Ohtani's also got a multi-hit game, so both of those guys have 18. William and company have 17. So that's certainly another positive for the Brewers today. And Colin Ray, it wasn't great the first couple frames. The 2-strike, 2-run homer is the one he really wants back. You don't mind the double from Brian Reynolds, and little did we know he was going to go 5 for 5 tonight and be a triple shy of the cycle. But the 2-out, 2-strike, 2-run home run in the first inning, that's the one he really wants back, in my opinion. But otherwise, it's a quality start. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, kept them in it, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. I think he went to the splitter a little bit too late, but we'll break all of that down coming up with Craig Kashan. This is the only thing I'm going to say about umpiring tonight. This is the only thing. We're not going to have some big controversy about umpiring tonight. Malachi Moore had an awful zone tonight. Awful. There's nothing else you can say about that. It was bad. And it was bad for both teams. It was inconsistent. You didn't know what you were going to get. Is it the only reason the Brewers lost the game tonight? Absolutely not. Is it frustrating? Yes. It was bad. He knows it was bad when he looks back on the tape. It was bad. But don't let it be a crutch as the reason why the Brewers lost the game. I know you want to say, well, wait, Yelly got rung up on a pitch that shouldn't have been called a strike, or he got young, or then they didn't get the strike call to Brian Reynolds and all this. No, look, Thiago Vieira struggled tonight. He did not do his job tonight, keeping the Pirates at 3 runs. He allowed 2. Mitch White in his Brewers debut allowed 2 runs. Yoel Payamps allowed a home run. Now, granted, we talked about the strike call. I point to the bullpen and the late arriving offense before I point to Malachi Moore. That's the only major point I'm going to make about umpiring tonight. You're welcome to disagree. You can call in, you can text in, 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620. We'll be back with more with Craig Kashan after this here on 620 WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Race fans, start your engines. It's time to make summer plans for fast family fun at Elkhart Lakes Road America. Experience 11 major races from vintage weekends to IndyCar. And new for 2024, Grid Life. Bring the entire family for affordable fun with on-site camping, free parking, and free admission for kids 16 and younger with the paying adult at the gate. See the full race schedule at roadamerica.com. Road America, America's national park of speed.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they helped me. They calmed me down. They made me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers Extra Innings is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. With the local Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank also knows how to hit it out of the park. They've been serving businesses in the area for nearly 15 years, offering industry-specific expertise and local decision-making capabilities to help your business succeed. This is commercial banking value that only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC. Brewers fall 8-6 tonight, game 1 of 3 against the Pirates in this midweek series. Let me get to the text line, 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620. A couple of texts here asking about Yoel Payamps' start to the season. This one from Austin and Poinette. Are you concerned with Payamps to start the season? This one from 262. Payamps got a little screwed by the umps there on the Reynolds AB, but I am still concerned with him this season. He has struggled lately going back to his outing in Kansas City. What do you think? I see a lot of rust from Yoel Payamps, given the Brewers didn't, he pitched in the Friday game against the Cubs 2 Fridays ago, and then he sat until Wednesday against the Royals. Then, unfortunately, was placed on the bereavement list, so he didn't pitch at all this weekend in all 4 games against the Cardinals. So another 5-day rest. You talk to any reliever, and I welcome in Craig Kashan here. You work with a reliever in Tim Dillard for a long time in his career. You talk to any reliever, you're sitting there and getting rust, and you're not getting to be used in a leverage situation. You're going to start to feel like, man, I got to dust myself off here and get the juices flowing again, because once he got punched in the mouth and led a couple base runners after the homer, Payamps got the adrenaline flowing again, and his stuff looked normal. So I see a lot of rust from Yoel. What do you see, Craig?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good call for sure, and he's been out a little bit as well. So, you add all those things together that you mentioned, and it is you like to think so anyway, because we know what his track record is in a Brewer uniform. He did such a wonderful job last year, and then ran into a little bit of rut after a good start this season, and then got right back on the horse again. So relievers are going to go through some things like this, but I'm really not concerned. I think he's experienced enough to get through this and knock that rust off and get right back at it as soon as tomorrow.
This one from the 414. We were on our heels all night. Pitching was not sharp all night, but just can't leave so many guys on base early in the game. It can take the pressure off the relief pitchers. I agree entirely. Let's talk a little bit about the bullpen and a little bit about Colin Ray here, too. Colin Ray, it's still technically a quality start. It looks worse because the Brewers' offense didn't do anything behind him, and he exited trailing, so he gets the loss. But in a 5-0 game, 3-0 game, I should say, when he came out of the game, going to Thiago was not that surprising in my eyes, given, you're not going to use a leverage guy there. You're not going to use Peguero. You're not going to use Payamps there. Try to get an inning or maybe two out of Thiago. And quite frankly, at that spot in the order when Thiago entered the game, 8, 9, and 1, you would hope that it doesn't get away from him quickly, but it did get away from him quickly, and he did not finish that 7th inning. Yeah,
and he's run into this before, Dom, a little bit too. And I think, look, at a certain point, you don't want to put your high leverage guys in there, but at the same time, it's a 3-0 game in the 7th inning, and you don't want the game to slip away. And I think I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be looking at a situation where they got to do some evaluation with him and see how he fits in with this current staff here right now. It could be an option back. I'm not sure, but. The bottom line is I think if you get back to, just the subject of Colin Ray leaving after 6 innings, 3 earned runs given up, I think what we saw a lot earlier this season were performances like that from starters, and then the bullpen would just simply take care of it the rest of the way. So you didn't get these tack-on runs in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, that we saw tonight from Pittsburgh. It was hopefully this was just an anomaly when it comes to that, but and certainly the bullpen has been so good they deserve hiccups now and again, and certainly the offense can do their part. It just happened so late in this game, maybe too late.
Yeah, and to be fair to Thiago, I mean, he's been used a lot lately because the Brewers have been trailing a little bit here in the last couple of weeks, and still though, got to get it done there. Same thing with Mitch White. I know he had been sitting in San Diego waiting for the phone to ring, but this is now his 3rd team in the first month and a half of the season. And look, I hate to be blunt like this, but it's the truth. There's a reason he's on his 3rd team in the first 2 months of the season. And the Brewers identify something. This is what they do. They try to turn another man's trash into their treasure. So far, they've done it with Jared Koenig. They've certainly did it most of last season with like Peguero and Payamps, identifying those guys as being helpful. They did it with Hobie Milner. So there's a track record of them doing it, but today was not off to a good start for him. But I think for me, yes, we can talk about the bullpen and all that stuff. The first part of that text was right. The offense leaving so many runners on base early. Granted, a lot of those opportunities came with 2 outs, but trying to get opportunities against Mitch Keller that didn't come through. And the Brewers, in the first 6 innings against Keller, they had left 8 runners on base.
Yeah, and we I tell you what, it's the second time we faced Keller, and the first time around, let's just take Jake Bauers, for instance, some hard hit balls with guys on base that turned into, a couple of tough outs for him earlier in the ball game. The first time they faced Keller, those balls, a couple of those balls fell in for base hits. A couple of those balls clanged off outfielders' gloves when they were trying to make diving attempts. And so now, you get a team the next time around and you find a way to even things out. But Keller's good. I mean, he pitched a good game. He did give up 8 hits, but he didn't walk anybody. And he was able to get those final outs of those early innings against Brewer hitters here. So give him credit. He's pitching really, really well right now for this Pirate team, and sometimes luck runs out on hitters sometimes.
And part of the reason, too, he was throwing strikes. He threw 71 strikes in 100 pitches. He only had 1 3-ball count all night, and it was in the first inning against William Contreras, so you can totally understand that for Mitch Keller. And look, I mean, I know the Brewers made it close at the end, and it was 8-6. They got beat tonight, and there's not much more analysis that goes into it. They just flat out got beat. There was no energy, and they were down 5-0, and they got beat. That's why you play 162 of them. I just can't get past that as my take tonight.
Yeah, well, it's right. And you know what? Top of the order, 1 through 5 or whatever, have done a really nice job of kind of covering the offense lately for this team. And tonight, kind of the opposite a little bit. Contreras got his hits, and he did end up scoring a run out of the deal. But Christian Yelich ended up having a tough night. He had a hit early, but 4 strikeouts for him. Willie Adames coming up with that clutch 2-out double in the 7th inning, but trying to stretch it out to a triple could have proved costly for this team as well when they were gaining a little bit of something, and he was already in scoring position too. So some things don't always bounce your way, and you can't rely on the top five. And I'm telling you right now, you get a big gun like Rhys Hoskins going down in the second inning, and as a club, it's a hamstring injury, and that's kind of a downer early in a game like that, especially when you're already behind. You lost one of your best clutch hitters.
And I agree with the Yelich take and with the Contreras take. I think with the Adames thing too, that can't happen. Plain and simple.
Right.
You can't let that happen. Willie knows that. Jason Lane was not sending him, and it's O'Neal Cruz you're running on. I mean, you look earlier in the second inning when Ortiz hit that double down the left field line. It was Perkins, a good runner from first base with 2 outs. He was getting ready to get the send from third, but Jason Lane read it well that O'Neal Cruz might get this cutoff and no, we are not running on that guy. And he put the stop sign up. Obviously, the Brewers didn't get the hit with Bowers. He lined out, but they had already held up a guy trying to score against O'Neal Cruz. Willie Adames, it didn't even look like he was fully into it as well. Hesitated around second. He gets thrown out at third base, and that was a huge, huge play. Let's shift over to the offense in our next segment here. Talk a little bit more about Bowers. We can't stop describing what William Contreras is doing, but maybe some other thoughts about guys like Jackson Churios, some guys like Joey Ortiz, Sal Frelick. That's coming up next here on 620 WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Trust in your family's comfort at home with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They're the oldest family-owned HVAC company in southeast Wisconsin. 4 generations of Ciders, and their highly trained technicians provide a one-stop shop for all home and business comfort needs, including an emergency service line that's always live and a 12-year parts and labor warranty on all Daikin products. Get peace of mind by scheduling maintenance today with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. That's SEIDER, cider.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost, free tire repair, and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements is we put them on for you. Buy one or a whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin, Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin, the buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers Extra Innings is brought to you by Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Spring in Wisconsin means it's time for your annual AC tune-up. Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical's got you covered. You can save $25 on AC preventative maintenance right now. That goes through the end of the month. So you can schedule your appointment today at Cider, SEIDER.com. With Craig Kishon, I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Brewers fall 8-6 tonight to the Pirates. Craig, Jake Bowers, I read off the numbers earlier. Since the toe tap switch, he's hitting nearly 500, 7 for 15. He's got 2 homers now. He's striking out less. He's whiffing less. And now, with the Rhys Hoskins injury, we might see a lot more Jake Bowers at first base. And quite frankly, having his pop, with Yelich still trying to get his pop back right now, you need some left-handed pop in this lineup right now.
Yeah, you ain't lying, as I like to say, Dom. That's for sure. It's great to see, though, for him. He's had a tough young portion of his career and to try to, establish himself on a major league team, being an everyday contributor. And maybe he's figured out some things. And right now I look at him, Vinny and I were talking on the post-game show on the TV side today, just the fact that, we're talking about Jake Bauers, a guy that's got 21 RBIs on the season already for a guy that I'm not even sure has played a whole lot more than half the games, maybe 3/4 of the games, but maybe not even in a full-time role. So credit to him. He's come through with some clutch home runs, guys on base, knocking in, 3-4 at a time like we saw tonight with his first career grand slam. Sometimes, the development of a player's success, you don't even know why it's good timing here. But obviously right now with Reese going down for we don't know how long yet, but just the fact that Jake's ready to go, ready to fill those shoes. We've seen him out in the outfield recently too. He's flipped back and forth from first base to the outfield a few times here recently. So, hey, keep the durability going, the flexibility going, and keep the power going as well, right?
Yeah, amen to that. Another guy I want to highlight that has been playing some really good baseball as of late, and I've highlighted him multiple times now, is Joey Ortiz. And I thought tonight was a significant game, not necessarily for his stat line, right? He scored a run. He went 2 for 4 at the plate. But the fact that Joey got the start against a tough righty in Mitch Keller. And maybe this would have been a spot for Oliver Dunn. And generally the Brewers go by the platoons. Lately they've been slowly starting to get Joey into more regular everyday at-bats at third base. And furthermore, since he got that great game against the Yankees, he had the walk-off, he had his first big league home run back on April 26th. It's now 13 games since that game. In this stretch, he's hitting .282, he's got a .370 on base, a 600-plus slugging, 1,000-plus OPS. He has got 4 doubles, a triple, 3 homers, 6 walks. I mean, the dude's producing, and quite frankly, like I said, he got the start against a righty today. That's not on accident. I think we're going to see a lot more of Joey Ortiz moving forward.
Yeah, and it's great to see, and he's sitting in your 7-hole right now too, with all the numbers that you're talking about. I remember about a week or so ago, Pat Murphy was talking about Oliver Dunn getting significant starts in a row, and in his opinion, it was simply to see what he's got. Maybe he flattened out a little bit, from his first major league, real experience here. But he wanted to see what he had, and I kind of like that approach because we're not used to seeing that, covering the Brewers. Brewer fans aren't used to seeing guys, get opportunities like that in consecutive days, in 3 and 4 days in a row. What do you have if you're righty against a righty? What do you have if you're lefty against a lefty? It's been kind of the platoon system for a lot of young guys up until now. He's given Jackson Chourio every opportunity you can imagine, yet he's put his foot on the brake and taken him out for little stretches here and there so he can see the game more from the bench and he can appreciate some things along the way too and learn. So I like the approach that they're taking with all of these young guys, Dom. I think it's the right way to bring guys along. And we saw a guy like Bryce Terang. We've talked about him 100 times, just the struggles that he went through last year, but he had to go through it. I don't know how many guys are really struggling that we're talking about with Joey Ortiz here right now, but I guarantee you that he did a time or two, early on here in the first month, and he's finding his groove now as well. So, kudos to him and kudos to how they're bringing these guys along.
And let's go ahead and end your segment of the show with the Jackson Chourio conversation, because Jackson's a 20-year-old in the big leagues, and quite frankly, right now, he's looking like it. He went 0 for 4 tonight. He's hitting .207 on the season. His OPS is below 600 now. It's 131 plate appearances. Reminder, 20 years old. A thing that I liked about today, no strikeouts. The ball was put in play. Thing I don't like about today, it was all ground balls. He's having trouble getting the barrel to the ball right now. He's having trouble identifying pitches. He is striking out a little bit less as of late, but yet this is going to be incremental steps that we're highlighting and looking for from Chourio because, quite frankly, as you mentioned a moment ago, a guy like Jackson is going to get every chance to fail because you have to figure, I call it, it's like Newton's Law. Everything that goes wrong can eventually go right. And for me, if Chourio can learn how hard it is to be in the big leagues, the sooner he can learn how good he can be in the big leagues, in my opinion. It can go both ways. And in my opinion, I keep playing him 4 or 5 days a week because there's only one way to learn, and that's by getting reps. Look at how it paid off for Bryce Terang last year.
Well, I think, a couple of things. He's getting these opportunities not because he's 20 years old. He just happens to be 20 years old, and he happens to be full of potential. And he happens to have had an unbelievable amount of success, in the leagues below the majors to know that to prove that he's ready to have this opportunity. And the second thing is, Dom, and I'd love to hear your thoughts here on this. As much as like you look at what he did in his 4 plate appearances today, the ground outs, yes, no strikeouts. I mean, I don't remember a whole lot at all this season so far watching him in the batter's box and look lost. I don't see that, whereas there are a lot of guys who have been 20 years old and look lost for a full season and just had to get through it. I don't see that with him. You know what I mean? I just see more of, man, he could really give you something huge here with this one single at bat here tonight and still ground out the rest of the way. It wouldn't matter. And he would learn from that and he would still provide, something for your team and still gain a heck of a lot of experience. He just doesn't look lost to me, which I think is a good sign.
I was also encouraged by the Kansas City series, given he hit 3 balls really hard in that series. Didn't really get much to show for it. I just want to see him to start barrel up the baseball. You're right. He's making contact. He's making swing decisions, but he's not quite catching it where he's supposed to. But somebody had asked me on Twitter, hey, can you talk about the Chourio? I think keep playing him, honestly, because when Garrett Mitchell comes back, it's likely going to be, pick Blake Perkins or Sal Frelick. I imagine it's probably going to be Blake Perkins is the guy that gets sent down to Nashville, but we don't know that for certain because Garrett can play center field, and he's probably going to be the everyday center fielder. And Joey Wiemer's still on his way back from health. Who knows what his role will be, but quite frankly, Chourio is going to be in there because he's right-handed. And when Garrett Mitchell comes back, this team is suddenly going to be very, very left-handed between you've got Garrett, you've got Yelly, you've got Bowers now, you've got Frelick, you've got Terang. They need someone right-handed, and it's going to be Chourio.
Exactly, and let's just, obviously hope that he's in that spot where we saw him beginning of the year, maybe a little more confident hitter and somebody who can, show off that power and show off that power to the gaps, especially here right now, and deliver in the clutch. It's all there. Guys go through month-long slumps, and it's all part of the process, that's for sure.
I agree. Craig Gashan joining us here on WTMJ. He'll be back with us again tomorrow. Craig, appreciate it. Bring a win with you tomorrow, okay?
All right, we'll do, Dom.
All right, Craig Gashan here on WTMJ. Take a breather, come back with more after this. Talk a little Yelly, talk a little of the meat of the order after this on WTMJ.
On deck, more Brewers Extra Innings.
Do you want the economy mulch or the premium? The only real difference is that the premium mulch has thicker strands, while the economy mulch is finer. But the colorant we use for both is of the highest quality, and that's why the color of our mulch lasts longer. And our mulch comes from trees, not pallets, and we process it all in-house. That's why our prices are so low. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. At Erickson's Landscape Supply, we have durable, maintenance-free polywood patio furniture and #1 grade treated natural pine Amish-made patio furniture. And we also have a wonderful assortment of concrete benches, statues, and fountains available in a selection you just gotta see to believe. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less, plus a whole lot more. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection or stop on in today.
Each day there's a sliver of time when you can almost breathe freely, and you feel better when you can, but you know that eventually that sliver of time closes, along with your nose. It puts a damper on your day every day. So you pop a pill or you take a spray to try to get that relief back, but it's always short-lived. And all the while in your efforts to give yourself relief, you may be making your nasal breathing problems worse. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and a simple in-office procedure from Advent called balloon sinuplasty could be the fast and convenient answer to your breathing triangle problems. Advent has been a leader in this procedure, which can be hard to find elsewhere. It's simple, there's little to no downtime, and it really can be life-changing.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Welcome back. Brewers fall 8-6. Couple of texts here, 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620. Brian from Tosa, tough loss tonight. Ray did his part, but the bullpen did not get the job done. I'm guessing at the time, being 5-0 late in the game, Murphy didn't want to use any of his best relievers. I agree. But in the end, with the comeback, getting the Brewers within one run, it unfortunately backfired. Guys just didn't execute, in my opinion. Yeah, and you're not going to use your best guys when you're already trailing by that many runs. But I think the real backbreakers were the home run to Grandal and the home run to Reynolds. Those are the real backbreakers. You could have weathered the storm there in the seventh being down 5-0. Now maybe Bowers doesn't get the same pitcher that he gets to face, doesn't get to face the right-hander even though he's left-handed. Sanchez doesn't get to face the lefty because he's right-handed, and then they left the lefty in for Bowers, and then Bowers, a left-on-left grand slam. That was only his fourth plate appearance all year against the lefty, and he got the job done. That was huge. That was really, really huge. I want to talk Yelly real quick, breaking down the eighth. This text, can he break down that he's behind 96-97 down the middle and check swings to end the inning? That was the official end of the game, in my opinion. It seems like he was sitting on the slider because that's Stratton's scouting report. Slider, cutter, and a fastball. You got to have a game plan in the big leagues. You got to understand what you're trying to do when you walk to the plate. And taking fastballs like that, maybe it's a guy that he struggles picking up. Maybe it's something that said, you know what, I am sitting on the slider, I am seeing it up, or I'm trying to see it down and in, or whatever he was looking for. He identified the slider, but realized it was going to be a pitch not to do any damage with, but then it's 2 strikes, and then boom, you're thinking in the box, and it generally tends to not work out that way. But a reminder, in baseball, you're going to fail way more than you succeed, and he got beat there. 4 strikeouts tonight. No player is immune to having a 4 strikeout game, except for maybe Tony Gwynn. But no player is immune to having a 4 strikeout game. I'm not worried about it. Like I said earlier with Craig, the Brewers just got beat tonight, man. They were down 3-0, and they could not get the big hit. And then Bowers obviously got the huge shot. And you talk to some folks in baseball, it's like, man, home runs are kind of rally killers. I wouldn't have minded if it would have been a double. You know, bases clearing double, keep the pressure on because you're like, all right, bases clearing double, it's 7-5, tying run still at the plate. You know, base hit makes it a 1-run game, keep the pressure going. That's just total momentum conversation sort of thing, but it's sort of something to think about there. And the Brewers got Monasterio to third, and like I said, I'm not talking about the umpiring, and you can argue about the Contreras called strike there, strikeout looking on the Monasterio stolen base and got him to third, but Stratton locked it in from there. He got the 2 best hitters on the team, and I tip my cap. He got Contreras and he got Yelich. No matter what the strike zone said it was, he got the guys. He got ahead, and he stayed ahead. But I'm not worried about Yelly in the slightest. He DH'd today, and he talked to some guys. Yelly doesn't like DHing, but he understood why it's necessary as he returns from his back right now. I can do this live on the radio before we take a break. what his numbers are this season when he's DHing and when he's playing left field, because he generally doesn't come off the bench. If he's out of the game, he's out of the game. And pulling up his numbers right now for his splits this year, in games that he is the designated hitter, he's hitting .222. In games that he's the left fielder, he's hitting .405. The OPS is almost double. 1241 as the left fielder, 652 as the DH. So our suspicions were accurate there. You feel more engaged with the game in a way when you're not the designated hitter, when you're in left field and you can focus on defense and see what you can do. So that's something that I would monitor as Yelly continues to make sure he's healthy with his back. Everything's going in the right direction for him. Maybe some more days in left field will help him out, to say the least. All right, up against the break, we're going to hear from the manager, Pat Murphy, coming up next here on 620 WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
SemperFiRoofing.com.
You've probably heard about employee stock ownership plans before, but what separates Fifth Third Bank from others when it comes to these plans? A succession plan that benefits business owners and employees. Full and partial sales, second stage transactions, repurchase obligation financing, and seller note refinancing, ESOPs can offer tax advantages, increased liquidity, employee incentives, and overall diversification of net worth to help your company plan for the future. Fifth Third Bank, National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Grab tickets to any Brewers game now. Next up, it's a can't-miss homestand against the Cubs and the White Sox the week of May 27th through June 2nd. Open up a new chapter of the I-94 rivalry May 27th through the 30th as the Brewers take on the Cubs. Then join Happy Days theme night for a Bronze Fonz bobblehead at the game on Friday, May 31st. Get in on a big week of Brewers action now at brewers.com/tickets.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. We're all living longer. That means in all of our families, people are facing Alzheimer's, dementia, and other memory-related issues. Azura specializes in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms. They're Wisconsin-based, 14 in our state, 4 in our area. I've been in their buildings. They're fantastic. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, empathy and compassion at the core. It's Azura.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers Extra Innings brought to you once again by Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Don't forget about that AC preventative maintenance. You can save $25. You can sign up through the end of the month at Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Schedule your appointment today at Cider, SEIDER.com. Enough of me. Here's what Pat Murphy had to say after today's game, and of course, an update from Rhys Hoskins.
I love our team, huh? Yeah, I love them. You know, the way they battle. That's just, it's a sign of, you know, we did a lot of things not so good, but we had an opportunity to win the game. And obviously, you know, that Keller pitched. I think all the attention on the other two guys, I think he stepped up tonight. He pitched great, man. I've seen him do this before, but Keller was great. Ball was taken off. He was in total command. It was pretty special.
Y'all were able to put a lot of runners on base against him. It seemed every time 2 on, 2 outs, he would get that. And what was it about him when he got?
He was just really good, and he did give up some hits. It's not like we hit him hard, but he gave up a few hits here and there, and then, you know, he battled, and with 2 outs, he got it out. Bowers hit a couple balls right at people. You know, we couldn't seem to push it across, but, you know, we had a chance to win the ball game. Our guys out of the pen didn't have their best night, but yeah.
I was going to say, Murph Bowers hit, you know, he kind of had some bad luck where he hit a couple hard. Did it feel like a night where you just kept getting him to the plate?
Yeah, I mean, he was really good tonight. I'm really happy for him. And with Reese's injury, obviously he's got hamstring. We don't know anything more. He'll have an MRI in the morning. That's a big blow. You know, to lose one of our leaders. We just got Yelly back, and Yeah, but credit goes to the Keller kid tonight. He was outstanding. Yeah, I'm proud of our guys. We put ourselves in position, and it's a trait of this team, and it's why you love this team. Did we play great? No. Did we play great yesterday? No. But it is a trait of this team to put themselves in position. So, like the day before, we had chances.
Is the hamstring the same leg as the knee? Is it left or right?
I think it's the right hamstring. He felt it going around first. I apologize. It's one or the other.
Murph, understanding he does have to get an MRI, is there any way to tell right now if this is looking like a potential IL thing for him, or?
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to tell, but we're going to get an MRI in the morning, and usually hamstrings are not better in a few days. You know what I mean?
You guys kind of skipped avoided one with Sanchez. You're able to get him back in like a week or so, but
right.
Again, that's tough to say, I guess, until you get.
It is tough to say.
Pat, what do you think of Colin tonight? He gave up the home run, but then settled in, was able to give you six innings.
Yeah, I mean, made a bad pitch there, you know, and after that, I mean, he helped us. You know, he knew our pen was a little thin, yeah, he stepped up big. You know, that's what a mature pitcher does. So to give us 6 innings tonight again, I don't know. I thought that was pretty special.
He gave up some loud contact on the sinker the first time through the order, and then he switched it up the next couple times through and going a lot more heavy splitter, softer stuff. Is that just part of what makes him so successful and able to eat innings? The fact that he can go out there and kind of make those adjustments based on what he's seeing?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. You know, he has such a variety that he can say, wow, they're sitting on this, or hey, wow, my sinker isn't as good right now. You know, my sinker in isn't getting in, or I'm not getting that comeback call, whatever, and he can make that adjustment. So that's a very good point. He does make adjustments mid-game, and if you listen to the conversation on the bench, that was what was going on.
Pat, that Perkins play where his fair foul could have totally changed that inning. You had probably the best view in the park. Did you think you might win that challenge, or is it like?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the camera shots down the lines like that are lined up perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we, especially in the right field corner, we've always seemed our people can't see it, so we just challenged it. We didn't know. But it looked like it was pretty darn close.
All right, really close. Yeah, why not? Challenge it. It's the 9th inning. You never know what can happen. It would brought the tying run at the plate. Weird game. Brewers fall 8-6, but there were still some highlights. We're going to listen to those coming up next. Brewers fall 8-6 on 620 WTMJ.
On deck, more Brewers Extra Innings.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here with spring here and the warmer temps in the air. This is a great time to be doing all the fun outdoor stuff, right? Like the hiking, the biking, maybe going to the lake. But if your joints are flaring up, you may be having second thoughts maybe about hitting those 18 holes. Well, if you're tired of the achy joints, here's what you do. You call QC Kinetics. Do it before you agree to surgery or steroids or any other medication. It's what tens of thousands of patients are doing. Take Abby, for instance. Constant back pain. She had nonstop ice packs, steroids. It was exhausting for her, but thanks to QC Kinetics, Abby feels like a new person. No back pain thanks to QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. Call QC Kinetics. I'd love to be talking about your story next, your lasting relief with no downtime. Call QC Kinetics. Consultation is free. Hear about it now. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Due into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text REP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text REP to 321-321. That's REP to 321-321.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
There were some moments, some defense, and then some late arriving offense. I won't call it fashionably late. It was late. Brewers fall 8-6 today. Colin Ray fell behind 3-0 in the first 3 innings of this game thanks to a 2-out, 2-strike, 2-run homer from Jack Sawinski in the first, and an RBI double from Brian Reynolds in the third. Brian Reynolds went 5 for 5 tonight. I mean, tip your cap sort of thing. Brewers offense wasn't doing much as well. They had left 4 runners on base in the first 3 innings. In the fourth, a little help from the defense from Bryce Terang.
Ray's 1-2 pitch. And that is a one-hopper into the glove of Terang at second. He spins and throws to first in time to get McCutchen. Put some gold on that glove. Bryce Terang, simply phenomenal.
He has been great as of late. That was Lane Grindle on the call here on WTMJ. When you look at some of the leaderboards when it comes to defensive run save, when it comes to outs above average, Bryce Terang is all over them for the Brewers and for Major League Baseball. He is a positive defender at second base. He is certainly going to be a contender in the Gold Glove race this year. How about some more defense as well? Willie Adames on the other side, his battery mate to turn to.
Here's the first pitch to Jared Triolo. A couple of hops deep in the hole, short. Fielded by Adames. Throw to first in time. Wow. Willie Adames.
When you make Lane say, wow, something good happened for sure. But the Brewers still trailing 3-0. Then the Pirates added on with 2 more in the 7th, thanks to an RBI single from Kutch and an RBI single from Cruz. The Brewers offense finally woke up in the bottom of the 7th, but there was a fatal error with it with Willie Adames.
1-0. Adames hits it in the air into right field. It's carrying. Back goes Reynolds. Back onto the track. Reaches out and hits off the fence. Brewers have broken through. Scoring from second, Monasterio. Right behind him, Contreras. Here's a relay to third, and Willie's out. He tried to make it a triple, and he makes the final out of the inning at third.
Just can't happen. Can't try to run on O'Neal Cruz. Threw him out with a 94-mile-an-hour Cruz missile, if you will. However, the highlight of the night came in the 8th inning. The Brewers rally starting to form from the same guy on the mound in the lefty Fleming. He was pulled, or he was still out there, I should say. And then Fleming, armed with another couple of runs thanks to a 2-run shot from Yasmani Grandal. You're thinking 7-2, leave the lefty out there, no big deal. Well, Perkins led off with a bloop single. Sal Frelick had an infield single. Then it was Joey Ortiz who hit a ground ball towards short that was bobbled by the shortstop, O'Neal Cruz, and ended up being no play. So it loaded the bases, and Bowers, left on left, stayed in there to take on the lefty Fleming. And on the 7th pitch of the at-bat, the first extra base hit of the year with the bases loaded.
The 3-2 delivery. High drive. Deep right field. Back goes Reynolds. Grand slam. The Brewers are within a run. It's 7-6 Pittsburgh. Jake Bowers delivers in the 8th inning.
Prior to that at-bat, the Brewers were just 3 for 30 this season with the bases loaded, given all their success with runners in scoring position early in the season. It's just funny that it's made it this far for the bit to continue, and that is the first extra base hit, of course, a grand slam, Bauer's first career grand slam. But that would be it for the Brewers offense. Also, just for twisting the knife, Brian Reynolds would hit his 5th hit of the night, a solo homer off Yoel Payamps in the top of the 9th inning, and bring us to our final score of 8-6. We'll preview tomorrow's game after this. Brewers fall, but there's still 2 more with these Pirates. Stay with us on WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
At Erickson's Landscape Supply, we have durable, maintenance-free polywood patio furniture and #1 grade treated natural pine Amish-made patio furniture. And we also have a wonderful assortment of concrete benches, statues, and fountains available in a selection you just gotta see to believe. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less, plus a whole lot more. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection or stop on in today. He told us to load 4 yards into his 8-foot bed, but we knew that 3 full, honestly measured yards were going to fill his truck bed to the rim. After we proved that, he told us the other guys have been telling him he's been getting 4 yards in there for years. Honest measurements and honest folks who just want to do you right. So you come back. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
All right, same time, same place tomorrow. 6:40 first pitch. Coverage begins just after 6 o'clock right here on 620 WTMJ. Joe Ross will get the ball against Quinn Priester. Priester has already faced the Brewers this season. He was scratched from facing the Brewers this season back in that 4-game series. They had got creative with their rotation against the Crew and had him avoid them, but the right-hander will be making his 5th start of the year. This year he is 0-3, a 3.86 ERA. He pitches to contact, a lot of walks too, 8 walks in 21 innings, only 12 strikeouts. Ross wants to just have a good, solid line out there, I think. Ross 1-4, 4.75 ERA. That does not tell the whole story. He obviously had the great start at Wrigley, where he only allowed 1 run, but that was, of course, with the wind blowing in. Doesn't take anything away from him, of course, but he just wants a solid day where he can sit here and say, yep, no big deal. This is back on track. I'm feeling healthy. The velo is certainly there right now for Ross, too. He's been sitting 94, 95, and it has been kind of effortless at times, and kind of goes back to the conversation that we had with Chris Hook during spring training. Like, how would you describe Joe Ross? He's a strong man. The dude is strong, to say the least. So his last start was against Kansas City. 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. He only faced 1 batter in the 6th, but the odd thing about that was that he was pulled with 67 pitches as he was facing that 3rd time through the order. So he's certainly fresh, and he hasn't really gone past 90. He's only gone past 90 pitches once. That was out of necessity to eat some innings against the Yankees. So would like to see him let it eat a little bit tomorrow and see what he can do against the Pirates offense. It's his 2nd start against them. 5 1/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 run that was earned, but he earned the loss in that one as the Brewers lost that game 4-2. And so again, same time, same place, 6:40, the first pitch tomorrow. Then a 12:10 first pitch on Wednesday. No postgame show on Wednesday, but we do have Brewers weekly on Thursday night, as the Brewers have an off day as they embark on their longest road trip of the year. 3-city trip over the course of 10 days starting on Thursday. They'll get 3 in Houston, 3 in Miami, off day next Thursday as well, 3 in Boston, and then back home, Craig Counsell's return. It is going to be very interesting. But that's going to do it for this episode of Brewers Extra Innings. My thanks to Craig Kashan for joining us here on the program, and for you for listening along this evening. And for our producer, Max Meyerson, back in our studios, I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Brewers fall, there's another one tomorrow. Back with then. Until then, keep on swinging.
Grab tickets to any Brewers game now. Next up, it's a